presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Welcome to Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. This is the third game of a four-game series against the Angels, and the Angels have taken the first two games of this series. And tonight the Blue Jays are going to take a look at Jaime Barria. First time they have faced him in his career. And here's the lineup for John Gibbons. Curtis Granderson back in the lineup tonight. He's in the leadoff spot, and down in that four-hole is Kendrys Morales. Boy, his last 10 games, Granderson has done a nice job, as has Morales over his last 2 weeks. He's hit 400, 20 for 50, and he's doing some damage. He's got 5 doubles, 3 homers, and 6 RBIs, and he's having a good series against his former team.
And the Blue Jays face a pitcher that they have never faced before. It is a right-hander, and it's Jaime Barria. This is his 10th start of the season for the Angels and his 6th here at home. He's already in his 5th stint with the Angels this season. He was recalled from AAA Salt Lake prior to the start of his game on June the 12th. At 21 years old, he was the youngest Angels player to make his major league debut since none other than Mike Trout in 2011, when Trout was just 19 years old. He's also the youngest pitcher to debut with the Angels since Tyler Chatwood. Fastball, slider, changeup, nothing really spectacular, but he throws a lot of strikes. Got off to a really good start in his big league career, but his last 2 starts against Seattle and against Arizona have not been very good for him.
He was 0-2 with an 80 ERA in those last 2 starts. Prior to that, he had a good run going. He was 5-1 in his first 7 starts. Granderson is set. Barria has the sign. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. 23 degrees, and we've talked about it for all 3 games. You can't have better baseball weather than they have right here in Anaheim. Granderson batting .251 on the season. Curtis, 2 pinch hit at bats in this series. He had a pinch hit base hit on Thursday night, a leadoff single in the 9th inning, but he was erased on a double play.
You know what he's doing a lot better of, Granderson, at the plate, is hitting the ball all over the place. Doing a much better job hitting the ball to left field. I think that's why the defense has straightened things out just a little bit. This might be the first team that we have seen this year not play the shift on Curtis Granderson. It's because he's been hitting the ball a lot better to left field.
There's a good changeup, and that's the scouting report we have on Barria. He will throw a lot of changeups. Doesn't matter, lefty or righty. He likes to use that off-speed pitch.
Yeah, he will get most of his ground balls off the changeup. And he's like Marco Estrada. He's not afraid to throw it at any point in the count.
He misses with that fastball upstairs. Teoscar Hernandez back in the lineup. He did not play in last night's game. He's batting second and playing left field. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Granderson. Inside, he takes the lead off walk. Defensively, only the Houston Astros have committed fewer errors than the Angels. They always have a good defensive ball club, and they've got a terrific anchor there in the middle of the diamond.
3-time Gold Glove winner, 5-time Fielding Bible Award winner. That's Andrelton Simmons. Just 32 errors, like you said, the second fewest in the American League. Big reason, this guy right here, one of 3 shortstops all time to win a Gold Glove in both the National League and the American League. Orlando Cabrera and Vizquel, Omar Vizquel, the other shortstops to do it.
Here is Teoscar Hernandez. He takes the first pitch strike. Hernandez, a little bit of a struggle lately. He's hit just .214 over his last 8 games. 6 for his last 28. In the opener on Thursday night, he was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Granderson with a short lead at first, and there's a big swing and a miss. How difficult is it for the hitters right now with that background? There's sun in center field and shadows all over the infield.
But I'm having trouble seeing from up here, so I can imagine trying to hit a baseball. That's what you're dealing with. The pitcher is standing in the shade, and the background is that bright sunshine. You just can't pick up the spin of the baseball. I think that's why Granderson had problems with the changeup.
Yeah, everybody in the outfield, the left field, there's not an issue, but Cole Calhoun in right field, he's having all sorts of problems with that sun. It's an early start here. It's an hour earlier than regular night games on Saturday. And you can see he's looking directly back into that sun, and he has to use his glove to shade his eyes as that pitcher is set to deliver the pitch.
And in about 5 minutes, the first baseman is going to have to deal with the sun just like this.
Check swing, the appeal down the first. No swing, according to first base umpire Todd Tishner.
The little sliver that between the top, the roof, and the stands is making its way across the infield. You can see it now getting over towards first base. That's going to be a problem for the first baseman, holding that runner on at first base and picking up the pitcher. It's funny, last night Marco Estrada said he had problems in the first inning actually seeing the catcher when he was throwing.
Hernandez strikes out. He chases that breaking ball well down and away. One away.
Well, just a young player again, making just his 10th start of the season. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Jaime Barria. Fastball, slider, changeup. There are the percentages that he will throw. He gets the highest percentage of strikeouts come off the slider. 51% of the time when he ends an at-bat with a strikeout, it's going to be from the slider. And I think he just threw one to Teoscar.
And there was Solarte 0 for 4 in last night's game. He takes a look at that first pitch, and it's a ball. Solarte is 0 for 8 so far in the series. He's had some frustrating at-bats. He's had some pitches to hit and hasn't made solid contact. He still leads the Blue Jays in home runs and RBIs. The ball is hit into center field. It's going to hang up for Hermosillo, and Solarte is retired on the line drive to center.
You can't get upset with that swing right there. At times he can get a little wild up there, especially when he's in a 2-0 count and a fastball hitting count. That time he had slowed everything down. Look how smooth this swing is. Stays behind that. He just can't elevate it enough to get it over the center fielder's head. Notice that their center fielder Hermosillo is deep. I mean, he plays really a deep center field.
He's got good speed. Mike Trout, the regular center fielder, he also plays deep, and he can run like the wind. Here's Kendrys Morales. He's having a good run over his last 2 weeks, hitting .400 in his last 14 games. Morales has already collected 4 hits in this series in the first 2 games. 2 for 4 last night with a pair of singles. He opened up the series 2 for 3 with a double and a home run. There's that changeup, and it's a good one.
Yeah, they were talking about that changeup around the batting cage today. When you asked the Blue Jays about tonight's starting pitcher, the opposition, they said, well, here he's got a pretty good changeup and a pretty good slider.
Fastball misses. You talk about a hot hitter, as Morales has really come around lately, and you could see over the last week the hottest hitters in the American League. Jose Altuve, the Blue Jays will see him on Monday down in Houston. The outfielder for Texas, Nomar Mazar, hitting .500, and Kendrys Morales right there on his heels.
Hitting the ball all over the ballpark, and when he's getting his pitch, he's not missing it.
This is a drive down the left side, get fair, and it's going to slice foul, and Upton is there to play it as it bounces on the warning track.
Just a simple explanation, if you will, from Kendrys Morales. Hey, how come you're starting to swing the bat? And he's saying, I'm getting pitches to hit. I'm not missing it. I'm feeling better at the plate. And he said playing time really helps. I think John Gibbons is saying, you know what, if you keep hitting, I'm going to find a way to get you in the lineup.
Bounced in the dirt, and Granderson thought about it. Briseño, the catcher, did a good job of keeping that ball in front of him. Granderson reacted to the flight of the ball, then he took off towards second.
Looked like a changeup in the dirt. That's textbook blocking right there by the catcher. Granderson sees the flight of the ball and that it's going to bounce. So his initial reaction was to try to move up, but great job blocking that ball. I guess when you play for a catcher, you better be able to block the ball in the dirt.
Or you won't be playing much. 3-2, 2 outs. There goes Granderson. Ball is hit deep to left field. Upton slicing over into the corner. He is there to make the catch. Morales is retired. The Blue Jays strand a base runner. A leadoff walk to Granderson. Marcus Stroman will take the hill when we come back to Anaheim. Up, and he was held hitless in the first 2 games, and he failed to reach base in last night's game. 0 for 3 in that ball game. Here's the rest of the lineup for Mike Scioscia's Angels. David Fletcher top of the order, and then Trout. Against Marcus Stroman, who's starting for the Blue Jays tonight. He's 5 for 10 for his career pair of doubles, an RBI, and he has walked and down in the 8th spot. Jose Fernandez is called up from AAA. He's hit .345 in AAA. He's 30 years old. He's from Cuba. Played a long time in Cuba. And he's a good hitter. He's playing first base tonight, but he can really swing the bat.
No Albert Pujols tonight for the Angels. That's the lineup that Marcus Stroman will face. Marcus's 8th start of the season, his first appearance since the Blue Jays had to put him on the disabled list on May the 9th with right shoulder fatigue. There are his numbers in the 7 starts. The last time he was on this mound, he threw a complete game against the Angels. That was back in April of last season. The last time the Blue Jays starter threw a complete game, it was here against the Angels. So Stroman trying to duplicate that tonight.
This is David Fletcher getting a start at second base. He takes the first pitch strike from Stroman. And Kinsler not in the starting lineup. Fletcher making his first start at second base. He's made 3 starts at third base. He too recently called up from Salt Lake City. Bouncing ball up the middle. That'll be a leadoff base hit for Fletcher.
They like what they see from Fletcher. They say he can really swing the bat. He's under control and takes that ball right back through the middle. Stroman will get his share of ground balls, but this one finds a hole back through the middle. That's a nice little controlled swing.
Fletcher was leading the Pacific Coast League in hits, doubles, extra base hits, and runs when he was called up to the big leagues. So a leadoff single. He's now at first for Mike Trout. Trout for his career 5 for 10 against Stroman, as we mentioned. First pitch strike. Blue Jays have handled Trout. He doesn't have a hit in the first 2 games.
He was on base via walks in the first game 3 times. There are the ridiculous numbers that he has put up, an on-base percentage of .467. Something that we're going to watch early in this game, do the pitches that Marcus Stroman have tonight have finish on it? That's what you want to see. He's been out for so long. Last time to the mound, he actually threw a simulated game in New Hampshire. He threw 75 pitches. But when I mean finish, does he have the movement that he needs to get those ground balls?
Trout strikes out on 3 pitches. The high fastball gets him. That has been his kryptonite over the years. If he does have a weakness, it is that high fastball. He will chase it from time to time.
And the Blue Jays do it better than anybody, I think. You get the 2 strikes and you throw a pitch that looks tempting, but it's just a little bit up out of the strike zone. That's a perfect pitch right there to get a very good hitter.
Coming into this game, Trout has a .297 batting average against the Blue Jays. This is his 50th career game playing against Toronto. This is Justin Upton hitting in the 3rd spot. He takes the first pitch strike. Upton has not faced Stroman before. Fletcher does not have a stolen base attempt yet this season, but mind you, he's had just 14 at-bats.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're going to be running unless you have elite type of speed. I don't know if you're going to be running in front of some of these big hitters that they're going to be setting up here. Trout and Upton. Upton's got 43 RBIs this season. Valbueno's been swinging a hot bat. Mike Scioscia doesn't want to run into any outs. Now, he wants them to be very aggressive on the bases, and this has always been one of the best teams going 1st to 3rd. But you don't want to be running into outs with big RBI guys coming up.
Fastball upstairs for a ball. 1-1 now to Upton. Fletcher had a 20 steal season last year. He was 20 for 26 in stolen bases between AA and AAA. Ball and a strike to the Angels left fielder, Justin Upton. There's a good fastball on the outside corner. Well, there are a lot of things that Stroman couldn't do early in the season. He had the short spring training because of his shoulder inflammation. And he just didn't have the command of his pitches, didn't have the finish like you were talking about.
Didn't have the movement, I think, which was really key. Command and movement. Fell behind through a lot of pitches, gave up a lot of base runners. So does he have the finish? Is he able to spin the baseball and get it where he needs to? Pete Walker back in the dugout for the Blue Jays. He's been gone for the last couple of days because of a graduation to his daughter.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Grabbed by Martin. 3-2 now, 1 out. Luis Valbuena is on deck. Left-handed hitter. Won't be surprised if they start the runner in this situation.
They might gamble right here to start that runner, stay out of double play. They know Stroman can throw a lot of ground balls.
Fletcher's running. Foul back. Mike Scioscia, he's a gambler. He'll start the runners. He's not necessarily a guy that's going to steal a lot of bases. They don't have those types of players. But he will try to get a runner in scoring position should there be a ball hit on the ground for Valbuena, who's a left-handed hitter and had some big hits in this series.
And covering on that steal attempt was the second baseman, Devin Travis. If they go again, he might be, he's leaning that way.
He's running again. There's a base hit through the right side. Fletcher's headed for 3rd. There'll be no throw to 3rd base. Justin Upton with a 2-strike base hit to right field.
And that's what hitters will do. The runner takes off, you foul it back, you look out and you say, okay, who was covering second base right there? And it was Devin Travis. So if I get that runner going one more time on the next pitch, inside out a ball. You got the whole right side of the infield to play with. Upton takes advantage of it. He sends Fletcher to 3rd base. Good piece of hitting right there from Justin Upton.
The Angels have scored 2 runs in each of the first innings of this series. They scored 2 runs in the opener on Thursday on 2 hits. Got 2 runs last night, also 2 runs on 2 hits. Valbuena moved back from that inside fastball. Luis Valbuena had a pair of home runs on Thursday. He had the game-winning RBI, a first-inning base hit in last night's game. The Angels won that game 2-1.
This is where it becomes very dangerous when he is ahead in the count. Good swing there. That first pitch was a fastball to move him off the plate. Then they're going to go down and away. But when he's ahead in the count this season, he's hitting over 500. He's a very good fastball hitter.
He's 3 for 7 in this series so far. He's had hits in 6 of his last 9 starts. Good off-speed pitch there. Looked like he took something off that fastball. It's 1-2 now. Stroman, when he's on his game, he can get a lot of ground balls, and those ground balls lead to double plays. He'd like to get one right here. Deep drive to right. It's got the distance, but it is foul. We mentioned Valbuena swinging the bat very well. He had 2 home runs in the game Thursday night. Second time he's hit 2 home runs this season in a ball game.
He's got 8 home runs this year. 4 of them have come with 2 strikes. So he cuts his swing down there. The numbers I was talking about, ahead in the count over 500, but with 2 strikes, it looks like he's trying to cut his swing down. They need a ground ball, a pop-up, or a strikeout.
Breaking ball, and he goes around. He's called for the swing. Manny Gonzalez down at third base rings him up. The Angels had a few beefs with Gonzalez last night. Mike Trout wasn't pleased with the strike zone, and here he calls Valbuena on the check swing.
It's a breaking ball down and in. Here's the side view. That bat head came across the plate. To the surprise of Valbuena, still looking at the third base umpire.
Sherman looked like he wanted to say something to Russell Martin, and then Martin said, you know what, we better not spend a mound visit right here. And Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire, waved it off, so it is not a charged visit. Here's Andrelton Simmons. That's a good breaking ball, but it missed. Simmons, since coming off the deal, just 2 for 27, and one of those hits was a bunt base hit against John Axford here on Thursday night. He's hit over 300 against the Blue Jays. Fouls that ball off.
He's had problems with the breaking ball. You mentioned he's 2 for 21 since coming off the disabled list. The month of June has not been kind to him. And he has not had a hit. He hasn't registered a hit this month off the breaking ball. So I think the breaking ball from Stroman, and when he's on, it's a pretty good one, can be a key pitch for him in this at bat.
Off the plate, 2 balls and a strike. Simmons struck out last night against Marco Estrada in the 4th inning. It was just his 3rd strikeout since May 1st. He's the toughest guy in the big leagues to strike out. Breaking ball pulled on the ground. Solarte will gather and fire across the diamond. Marcus Stroman gives up a couple of hits, but the Angels leave a pair. No score after 1. Stroman's back in the rotation for the Blue Jays.
My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ0400 to earn My Blue Jays points while watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m.
Beautiful evening here in Anaheim, and now we're earlier start than the first two games, Thursday and Friday. A day game tomorrow afternoon as these two teams wrap up their 4-game series. Kevin Pillar, he's going through a tough stretch lately. Kevin batting .125 over his last 10 games. He's 5 for 40. Check swing, and that has been the problem. Indecisive.
In between, if you will. He might be looking for a fastball, they throw him a breaking ball, and he'll swing. He might be looking for a breaking ball, they throw him for a fastball, and he checks his swing. He's in between. I think the best thing to go up there and do when you're like that is sit on one pitch. He's not real great at looking for certain pitches, but sit on one pitch, and as soon as you get it, just unload on it. Right there, that's a tough breaking ball, down and away, swings right through it.
Jaime Barria, we mentioned in his first 7 starts, he went 5-1 with a good ERA, but it's been a struggle for him over his last 2 starts.
Lots of hits. Look at that, 14 of them over those 9 innings. Pretty decent hitting clubs at Seattle and then Arizona right here.
Now, he caught Arizona when Paul Goldschmidt had started to swing the bat a little bit better. Goldschmidt hit a home run off of Barria.
Same thing with Seattle. They put up 10 runs in last night's game against the Boston Red Sox.
Seattle's leading Boston 7-0. Middle of the 7th in Boston. Russell Martin with a 1-1 count. Now it's 2-1. Change-up missed. Barria wanted it, but didn't get the call. 3-1 now.
He will throw his share of pitches. Jaime Barria. He actually had an inning this year where he threw 49 pitches in 1 inning and didn't give up a run. That is tough to do until you get into it and start looking into that inning. There's ball 4.
Russell Martin takes the second walk of the ball game. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light MLB cans available now, featuring the Red Sox, Jays, Yankees, Cubs, Mariners, and Expos. You mentioned that 49-pitch inning. Brandon Belt had that 21-pitch at bat in that 49-pitch inning, and no one scored. That's what's remarkable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Once you jump into that inning and start looking at what really happened, you can see how he threw 49 pitches. A major league record, 21 pitches to 1 batter.
Martin dives in back at first base.
Jose Briseño, the catcher, against his counterpart. That was just a little decoy right there by Russell Martin. Just run a couple of steps off there. Maybe you get an infielder moving a couple of steps out of position.
There wasn't much of a step from Barria as he threw that ball to first base. Pitchers from that set position have to make a definitive step toward first. He almost threw before he stepped. 1 half time, the second, no score. Blue Jays have had a couple of walks. They haven't had a hit yet. Brando Grichuk, they had an infield hit in the 7th inning. The Angels asked to have that play reviewed, and the call on the field was overturned, so he had a hit taken away from him in the 7th inning. Hit a home run here on Thursday night, an opposite field home run, right down the right field line.
thought he had another one in yesterday's game. Drilled a ball to right field. Almost the same type of swing, almost the same result, but at the last second just sliced away. He now has the count in his favor. They could turn him loose here again if they want to. The way he's been swinging the bat, not a bad idea.
3-0. He takes a strike. Randall, since the 3rd of June, is at .321. And he had a horrible start to his time with the Blue Jays. Hitting under 100 early in the season. But he's had 6 home runs since June 3rd.
They're not even holding Russell Martin on over at first base. First baseman Jose Fernandez is off the bag. They don't expect him to run. But the pitcher keeps throwing over there.
Pitching takes ball 4 back-to-back walks for the Blue Jays here with 1 out. They've had 3 base runners. It's been 3 walks. They should buy Maria, and that's going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound. Charles Nagy will jog out to the mound, have a chat with his righty.
You know, the real strength of this young man has been his ability to throw strikes and throw them consistently. Just has walked just 10 batters this season in 45 of the 3rd innings and 10 starts, averaging just 1 walk. This is number 3 already.
Nagy's in his 3rd season as the pitching coach with the Angels, and you can see Valbuena serving as a bit of an interpreter, trying to get the message across to Berea. Berea is from Panama City, Panama. He was signed as a 16-year-old, 6-year in the organization. And as Pat mentioned, he is a youngster, just 21 years old. Ledmus Diaz will bat with 1 out and runners at first and second. Because after that first pitch, Diaz had a base hit and scored in the 7th inning in last night's game. He had a couple of hits on Thursday night, including an RBI double and a mini 3-game hit streak. He chases that breaking ball, and that's going to be a problem for the Blue Jays hitters, not having faced Berea in the past.
And hitters nowadays, they really like to have a lot of information. Put it in the memory banks, but there's nothing like stepping in there and facing a guy for the first time. Still, the shadows playing some tricks on those hitters. Just get it close. You know, when it's tough to see, especially the spin of the breaking ball, you just got to get it close. That last pitch was nothing. It served no purpose. It just helped Diaz to get back into this count.
A ball and 2 strikes on the Blue Jays shortstop. Foul tip held on to by the catcher. It's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3. It's the 10th start for Berea. He's a rookie, and you can see the rookie starter's ERA with a minimum of 8 starts. His teammate Shohei Ohtani currently on the DL.
Yeah, shut down right now, so the Blue Jays aren't going to face him in the 4-game series. But from everything that we have seen, he's electric, and I'm sure they're happy they're going to miss him. Then right behind him, Jaime Berea, 357. The Blue Jays saw Fernando Romero with Minnesota. He made his big league debut against the Blue Jays. So some powerful arms in the American League, the young kids.
Here's Devin Travis. I asked Devin Travis specifically about this game tonight. I said, you're facing a guy I haven't seen before. What's your process? What do you do? He said, I go look at his pitches, what he's thrown in games prior to this one. But I don't want to look at a lot. I just want to get an idea what he looks like on the mound and then get the percentage of the pitches he throws. He said, I also like to see the hot zones, where he throws the ball where he throws his fastball the most often, where he throws his slider and the changeup. And then that's about all Travis wants to know.
And they have that type of information. What percentage of fastballs does he throw early in the count, and does he throw it for strikes? So you can start to build your game plan against him.
That backswing appeared to catch the catcher on the left arm, but that'll happen when a hitter is fooled by an off-speed pitch and he's out in front. Big follow through.
And Devin has an extended, whoa, right on the shoulder, follow through. Let's go with that top hand.
When it's all said and done, after Travis prepared for this matchup against Berea, he said, what I have to do is stay on the fastball. He said, I just have to go up there and look for a fastball until I get to 2 strikes. And now he's just got the battle. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and standing in that batter's box is no time to be thinking about your mechanics of your swing. You do that at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Hitting is tough enough. You start clouding your mind with all those other thoughts. Where's my hands? Am I positioned in the batter's box the right way? You do all that during batting practice. So now when you hit in these tough situations right here, you've already planned what you're going to do.
You got to keep it simple. Look for the baseball. Pick up the baseball early and then make a decision. Take it or get after it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No score. Top of the 2nd inning. Blue Jays have drawn a couple of walks here in the inning. Martin's at second. Gritchick's at first. Fastball fouled straight back.
There was the fastball that he was looking for. Pretty good pitch to hit. Again, over 51% of his strikeouts are the result of a slider.
He has set up Travis for a slider on this pitch. Look at all those pitches up. There's a slider. He catches the outside corner. Travis thought it was off the plate away. Andy Fletcher rings him up. 2 walks, but he strikes out 3 in the inning. Still no score in Anaheim.
He was aware that he'd be getting the ball tonight, and he declared, I know my body and I am ready. John Gibbons says if it's an effortless outing for Stroman tonight, then they're going to push him a little bit, what with the bullpen needing a little bit of a breather after Thursday. Now Stroman spoke with our pal Ben Wagner from the radio side before tonight's start. Marcus said he's back throwing with ease after 2-a-day workouts, focusing on the arm and body in Florida. Now Stroman has been throwing quite a bit of late. His last throwing session was a live bullpen in the rain where he fired around 80 pitches. So he says his pitch count won't be an issue. And beyond that, what may have been most intriguing of what Stroman said yesterday, I'm learning to manage my life, learning to manage adversity, and my head is clear. So much so, guys, that Stroman also said, I've got the chip back on my shoulder.
Well, Pete Walker is glad to have him back in the rotation. You can bet on that. And Marcus Stroman has been one of the best pitchers in the game when he is healthy and right. And he as you heard from Arash, says he's healthy and right now. No score, bottom of the second inning. Cole Calhoun will lead things off. Marcus gave up a couple of singles, but stranded a pair of Angels in the bottom of the first.
Made a great pitch to Valbuena to get the big strikeout, and then got Simmons to tap over to third base. That's what you want to do. Get runners on. Okay, now can I pitch out of it? And he did in the first inning.
Driven down the left side, slicing and foul at the base of the wall in foul ground.
You know, you saw that hesitation from Marcus Stroman, and it brings back some memories. Last year, right here in this ballpark against Cole Calhoun, he quick pitches him, and the home plate umpire at that time was Ramon de Jesus. He says, no, I called timeout. So much so that John Gibbons came out and was thrown out by de Jesus. Alfonso Marquez tried to come in, the first base umpire, and calm things down, but it was that quick pitch that caused a lot of controversy.
There's a weak ground ball hit to first. Morales will step on the back. Calhoun is retired. In that ball game, Stroman was really good, and he just has always tinkered with the timing of his delivery, and we've seen him do that in the past. And you and I both saw that game. We did that game, and I don't ever recall the umpire calling timeout. He called it after the fact.
Yeah, he called it late. It was April the 23rd, 2017. There are the numbers. That's the last time a Blue Jay starter threw a complete game. They threw 2 of them last year, both of them by Marcus Stroman.
This is Jose Briseño, the catcher. He's making his 6th start of the season for the Angels. Rene Rivera, who has served as a backup catcher, is currently on the disabled list with a knee problem. Briseño played in 23 games in AAA Salt Lake City. This is his 6th start. That's coming up from AAA. He has the distinction of doing something that no other Angel has done, as Briseño homered in each of his first 2 starts. First Angel all time to homer in their first 2 major league starts. And here he chases that pitch up and away and strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Marcus.
Mike Scioscia has put an interesting lineup on the field tonight. No Albert Pujols, no Ian Kinsler, no Martin Maldonado. Some veteran hitters on the bench tonight against Marcus Stroman.
Kinsler had started 61 games. Pujols has been playing a lot at first base. He's made 38 starts at first base. He felt like it was time to give them a break.
Yeah, you got a day game after the night game tonight, so you got some of the older players, get them off their feet. They'll be back in there tomorrow afternoon. I think you can afford to do that if you're Mike Scioscia, because you've won the first 2 games in this series.
Yeah, that changes perspective for sure. What about announcers? How do they handle day games after a night game?
Not very well sometimes.
Well, Mike Scioscia, what a terrific run he has had here. Scioscia's in his 19th season as the manager of the Angels. Jose Fernandez hits a weak ground ball to second. Travis throws to first, and that'll do it. Marcus Stroman retires the side in order in the second. He has retired 5 in a row.
Sportsnet's Hockey Insiders have NHL free agency covered. You can get the lowdown on every move with Hockey Central signing season, presented by Molson Canadian, July 1st on Sportsnet. Buck?
Thank you very much. And there used to be a time when hockey would take the summer off. Not so much anymore. Lots going on. A lot of Blue Jay fans here, I'm sure they had their eyes set on the first round of the NHL draft last night. Curtis Granderson, his second look at Jaime Barria. I spoke to Curtis about this situation. Here's a veteran hitter facing a guy for the first time. I said, what do you do in preparation for facing a guy for the first time? He said, I don't change much of anything. And he said, I'm kind of an old school guy. He said, when I started, video had just really started to become a big part of the game, and I was never one to look at a lot of video. He said, I always feel like you get too much information. And then when the plan doesn't play itself out, you're confused. So what Curtis likes to do, he'll go to Brooke Jacoby, says, tell me what he throws, how hard he throws, and when he throws those pitches. That's all I want to know.
And then he will just react, and he'll let his natural baseball talent take over.
He said, when I was in the minor leagues, I was a pretty good hitter. But we didn't have any video. We just kind of figured things out. And he said, I think sometimes we get way too much information. With 2 strikes, he chokes up on the bat handle. And that changeup gets him. That's 5 strikeouts for Barria so far. Blue Jays still haven't made contact. They have 5 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Last time they made contact was a fly ball to end the first inning. I mean, made contact, put the ball in play. Would you, if you were playing today, would you want all the information that they have?
Oh, God, no.
Or would you say, okay, kind of like what Curtis does, just tell me what he throws, when he throws it, and how hard it is?
Well, you were a very good hitter, and you hit well over 300 a couple of years in the big leagues. But when you go into the batter's box, you say, okay, he's got a fastball. I want to look at it. Let me see what it looks like. Can you pick up the spin? I want to see his breaking ball. You take a few pitches and you get comfortable. You figure you're going to see the guy 3 or 4 at bats in the game, and you don't have to hit the first pitch you see.
You know, when I did my worst work, if you will, when I was slumping the most, my mind couldn't concentrate.
Look out.
And get all the information that I needed. There were times that my mind would be racing when I'm in the batter's box, thinking too much, and I had too many thoughts. The best time when I simplified everything and have one thought. And I think that's the approach that Curtis is talking about. He just arrived at the same destination a different way.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And obviously, I think, and Yogi Berra said it many, many years ago, you can't think and hit at the same time. You have to concentrate on picking up the ball, and when the ball's out of his hand, you get ready to hit it. Brooke Jacoby would like to keep things simple. We spoke to Brooke today specifically about, what do you tell hitters during the course of a game? So, well, I don't like to talk mechanics because that clouds their
Clouds up the mind. That's right.
Now talk about velocity, and then he said, a couple of key points. High fly ball deep to left field. Get up, ball. This ball is way out of here. God, for Teoscar Hernandez. Number 13. A home run continues to be a problem for Barria.
Yeah, he has given up his share of home runs, but what was impressive about that swing from Teoscar Hernandez is how he waited on the breaking ball. Teams have been throwing him many more breaking balls, and he's been swinging through a lot of them. So he's had to make the adjustment, and he made the adjustment on that one. Against the breaking ball in the month of June, get this, when this series started, he was hitting under 100, 077 off the breaking ball. So they've been throwing him plenty more of them than hitting fastball. But watch how he stays back on this breaking ball, reads it, There's that small hesitation where he kept his hands back, and then the weight shift and the swing all worked together. And that ball went a long, long way.
His second home run in his last 9 games. He had been in a little bit of a tailspin. Solarte fouls off this pitch.
There's just something about players who, when they can hit the breaking ball, they become exceptional hitters. Pitchers will find that weakness very quickly, and over the last 10 games or so, they've been feeding him a lot of breaking balls. He stayed back on that one and got all of it.
All the great hitters that hit breaking balls didn't hit good breaking balls. They hit
Mistake breaking
balls, but they didn't miss them. I mean, pitcher might make one mistake with a breaking ball, and the good hitters, they just square it up. There's a bullet into center field off the bat of Solarte. So it's second time through the order. Blue Jay hitters have a little bit better idea what they're dealing with against Berea. Kendrys Morales fly to left field his first time up, and it's been a different story since the 19th of May. He's hit .352, 200 points better than he hit to start the season, and you've talked to him a couple of times about the turnaround.
Yeah, and he was saying when he got rid of the glasses and the batting gloves, it was a brutal month of April for him. And we started off the month of May in Minnesota. And he had a couple of really good games in Minnesota where he hit some home runs, and it looked like he was coming out of it, but it still took a couple of more weeks to May the 19th where he really locked in. And his bat path, especially from the left side, is staying on the ball a lot longer.
It is certainly good to see him swinging the bat the way he is at the moment. And he's always a threat to hit a home run. He's hit 44 home runs in this ballpark. He spent 6 years playing for the Angels. His first big league club. Hit a long home run here in the 8th inning on Thursday night. The second hit of that ball game. Ground ball. Fletcher to Simmons. Back to first. Double play. But the Blue Jays break out on top. Teoscar Hernandez gets the first hit against Berea, and it is a long one. A no-doubter to left field, his 13th home run of the season, and the Blue Jays have taken a 1-0 lead. Start to this series, but it's erased with one swing of the bat. He struck out in the first inning, and he hammers this ball. And you see the exit velocity, almost 110 miles an hour. He hit it 424 feet, well over the wall in left field, to give the Blue Jays and Marcus Stroman a 1-0 lead.
When you have bat speed and strength like that, you can hit a ball that far. What was the exit velocity? 110?
110.
Wow.
109.7. Nice grab by Solarte off the bat of Hermosillo, who can run a bit. Good play over third base. Solarte is making his 41st start at third base. He's committed just 1 error. He's played very well defensively at third.
That came very early in the season, too, over there at third base. Gobbles this one up, and now watch him. He checks to see where that runner is, and you're right. Hermosillo can run, so he checks where he is, fires over to first base to get the first out. Got to be on your toes when Stroman's sinker is working, and right now it's working.
Back to the top of the order. David Fletcher had a base hit right over the mound his first time up. Angels had 2 singles in the first, but Stroman was able to strand both base runners. Two and 0 now. Fletcher was drafted by the Angels in the 6th round in 2015 out of Loyola Marymount University, not far from here. And in talking to the coaches with the Angels, they love everything he does.
Puts the bat on the ball, plays the game the right way, sprays it around, can play multiple positions. He's on the team right now because Zach Kozart, the regular third baseman, is on the disabled list.
Foul outside of third. Breaking ball, base hit. Fletcher's 2 for 2. Nice short stroke. Couple of ground ball base hits. So that'll bring Mike Trout to the plate with a man on and 1 out. Trout struck out on a high fastball his first time up, and you can see this season against the Blue Jays, they've had his number.
143 batting average, where he hits 328 against everybody else. All the numbers down. They've thrown him break ball. They've made some really good pitches. We talked about that at the beginning of this series. How hot Trout was coming into this series, and the Jays have got to figure out a way to pitch to him and get him out.
He takes that borderline pitch upstairs. It's called a ball. That's the pitch he struck out on his first time up. Marco Estrada struck him out on called strike 3s in each of his first 2 at-bats last night on the same pitch, that high fastball. Ground ball left side, through there for a base hit. And Mike Trout reaches base. The Blue Jays kept him off the bases last night. He was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. The longest stretch for Mike Trout of failing to reach base for his career, 2 games.
Yeah, since he was called up for good in April of 2012, the longest streak, 2. So he breaks that streak of 1 where they held him off the bases last night. He's such an exceptional low ball hitter, and that was a low ball that he was able to punch through the hole on the left side.
Justin Upton had a base hit his first time up. It was a 3-2 pitch. The runner, Fletcher, was moving on the pitch, and Upton hit it through the right side of the infield. Evan Travis, the second baseman, had vacated his defensive position to cover second base, and there was a big hole on the right side.
And Morales, the first baseman, is trying to cover up that hole. Look how far off the base he is at first base.
Stroman with a spin pickoff move. That's a little bit offline. Marcus is a terrific athlete. We have seen that time and time again. He is an extra infielder on the mound for sure. 2 balls and no strikes. Marcus has not been himself this year. The numbers reflect it. The first time through the order, he held the opponents to a 212 average, but the second time it jumps to 339, and the third time it's almost 360. And I think those numbers reflect the fact that he wasn't healthy. And it goes back to spring training. He didn't pitch much in spring training, and he just never got over those shoulder issues. Pete Walker is aware of that.
Each time he goes through the order, he throws fewer fastballs. Also, that might have something to do with that. I think he has to be able to command that fastball and use the fastball to set up those other pitches.
3-0 pitch to Upton, and he walks him through a breaking ball for ball 4. Stroman looks surprised that wasn't a strike. Russell Martin turned around and had a short conversation with Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire. You know, we talk about how difficult it is for hitters to see this time of the night. It's also a challenge for umpires.
Maybe the umpire got locked up a little bit on a 3-0 breaking ball, and it surprised him. It looked like it was a strike, but now you got to forget about that. Forget about that. Concentrate on Valbuena. He is going to be looking for that first pitch out over the plate.
You bet he is. And it's up and away. Valbuena has one career grand slam. He's homered twice in this series already. He has 8 home runs for the season. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1.
That was a good breaking ball there in a fastball count. He threw him the breaking ball. He looks at those numbers too and sees that Valbuena, when he is ahead, he's hitting over 500.
Fly ball to center. Fletcher's back to tag. Here's the throw from Pilar. It's a good one in time. He got him. Kevin Pilar throws a strike to home plate for his third outfield assist. It's a double play. 8-2 on the double play, and Pilar makes a heck of a throw. Fletcher had tagged. Pilar sets up perfectly and unloads a one-hop strike to Russell Martin. Right on time.
Goes Monday, July 2nd. It's presented by Honda. The first 20,000 fans in attendance will receive that J-Hat bobblehead. That's when the Tigers come to town to face the Blue Jays. BlueJays.com for tickets. Guys, you're talking about the sun and the impact it can have on the outfielders and the umpires. It was yesterday, Marco Estrada told us in the first inning, he couldn't even see home plate. He said, I didn't even know where some of my pitches were going. Then in the second and third inning, the sun went away.
Estrada got comfortable then.
Really unfortunate because Marco Estrada gave up the only 2 runs the Angels would score in that first inning. He threw 21 pitches in the first inning. And that's all the Angels needed as they won it 2-1. Well, how about this? Here's Kevin Pillar leading off after making that terrific throw to gun down David Fletcher at the plate. Ripped to the alley in right center. Hermosillo over to cut it off, and it skips over his glove. Pillar will go to second with a stand-up double to lead things off for the Jays here in the 4th. Double number 24 for Pillar.
You know, he mentioned that the outfield here, they really play deep to cut balls off just like that. Pillar stays back and gets a ball out over the plate and rips it to right field. He made a great defensive play at the top of the inning, last inning, and now doubles to right field. But the center fielder playing deep, he's got to cut this ball off and hold him to a single.
Yeah, you play that deep. You cannot afford to let that ball get by you. So now the Blue Jays have to take advantage. They already have a 1-0 lead. Russell Martin drew a walk back in the second. Pillar with those 24 doubles, that's the 3rd most in the American League.
Blue Jays got to add to their lead right here. You've got 3 hits. You got a leadoff double, runner at second base. You got to cash them in.
Keeping the ball away from Martin. He's got to pick up on that. Go ahead and try to drive something to the right side. Of course, you want him to drive him in.
You're not giving yourself up and just placing a ball to right field. You're trying to drive him in.
With Simmons playing shortstop, if he gets a ball to his right and Pillar happens to take off, Simmons will go to third. Another ball off the plate outside. It's 3-0.
Blue Jays have had their share this season of 3-0 home runs that they have hit. John Gibbons likes to give his veterans that green light, snap them out of a hitting funk.
Blue Jays have now hit 98 home runs for the season. Russell Martin, that one's not even close, so he walks for a second time. Let's go back and look at the terrific throw by Kevin Pillar to end the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Well, he did everything right. He must have had some great coaching when he was a young player in high school. He gets behind the ball, throws the ball perfectly, one hop to Russell, who can one-hand tag, then he doubles, and of course there's the guy who coached him in high school, Mark Gubazov, sitting right next to us. He is the voice of the Los Angeles Angels. He and Victor Rojas do a great job, but he's beaming right now after that great defensive play and then the double.
Yeah, he gave us a high five through the glass.
Through the glass. His chest was stuck out like, yeah, I taught him that.
Yeah, I worked with him like that. A big opportunity for the Blue Jays here in the 4th. Leadoff double by Pillar and a walk to Martin. Randall Grichuk, he walked his only time up. He pops it up into shallow center field. Hermosillo waiting there and makes the catch. Grichuk hit it a mile high, but it's first down of the inning. Aledmus Diaz was a strikeout victim back in the second, one of 5 strikeouts for Berea. He has struck out 5. He's walked 4. Blue Jays have 2 hits, but they have the lead, 1-0. Check that. Blue Jays have 3 hits now. Break in behind, and had that been a good throw, they had a shot at Pillar.
Yeah, it's a timing play between the shortstop and the pitcher. And if the shortstop catches that runner leaning out on his right foot, you can flash in behind them, and they had a shot to get him if it's right on the bag. The timing was perfect for Simmons against the base runner. You want to go right when that runner is taking his last step with his right leg, like he's going toward third base. You duck in behind him, you got a shot.
Another high fly ball into shallow center. Fletcher going out. He'll give way to Hermosillo, who makes the catch, second out. Lefty Jose Alvarez starting to loosen up. Berea has thrown 70 pitches with 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Curtis Granderson is on deck. Obviously, that's the center of focus for Alvarez. Granderson, the DH, and the left-handed hitter. Anderson Simmons is always looking for an opportunity to pick up an out, get him out of the inning. He snuck in behind Pilar, but Berea wasn't set.
Yeah, look at Kevin's lead now, how deep it is at second base. And he'll slowly walk up and get into the baseline.
Travis goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Well, you bring up an interesting point about Pilar running the bases. A base runner running from second will take his lead behind the baseline, behind that direct line, so he can create a good angle should there be a base hit going around third. So he'll start a little bit deeper away from that baseline.
And now he'll walk up to where he needs to and then bounce off.
Kevin's a good base runner, and he is aware of a situation. He'll walk away from the base path now and create a little bit of a better angle, and then he'll move a little bit closer towards the base path.
All the while looking around him, getting an idea if somebody's trying to flash in behind him. That's Simmons, very active at shortstop.
He can be active at shortstop because of who's at the plate.
Hits the ball the other way. That's Devin Travis. His strength is hitting the ball to the right side or right center field. Well, you're right. He can be active and open up the left side.
All the while shortening up Pilar's lead at second. Upstairs. 2-2 now to Travis. Blue Jays trying to add to their early 1-0 lead.
You got to figure at some point there's going to be a changeup coming here. And Devin was telling me the other day, he says, my timing is really starting to come back. I'm playing with a little bit more regularity. I'm starting to time up those off-speed pitches, and I'm starting to hit them hard like I did last May.
There's a breaking ball. It's going to reach the seats out of play. You know, you mentioned that when talking about Kendrys Morales. More regular bats, better at bats, better numbers, better results.
Yeah, it's pitch recognition. It's getting out there every day and getting a feel for hitting. Toughest thing to do for a young player in terms of major league experience is to play and sit, play, sit. Get those inconsistent at bats. You just can't get any timing at the plate.
Popped up. Fernandez over near the Blue Jays dugout and hits right off the roof of the dugout and bounces back onto the field. You know, and the point you make about inconsistent at bats, that's why most teams have veterans on the bench. Good teams will have veterans on the bench who can survive getting infrequent at bats. Curtis Granderson's a great example.
Yeah, I was just going to say, who's their best pinch hitter? Curtis Granderson. He knows his swing. That's another thing. Being able to know your swing. Know what makes you a successful hitter.
Upstairs, it's a full countdown. So Pilar from second, Martin from first. They'll be running on pitch. There are 2 outs. Devin Travis struck out his first time up. Pops it up. This is playable. David Fletcher, the second baseman, calls for it on the outfield grass. He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays will strand a couple more base runners. They'll take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the fourth.
To Detroit, they've been to Cleveland, they've been to Minnesota, and they said, let's go to California and see the Blue Jays.
Well, I know where they're going next.
Seattle?
Seattle.
I think they've been there. I think they told me that they have been there.
This is Andrew Simmons, the shortstop. Bouncing ball. Stroman will take his time. Throws to first to 1 out.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Beautiful ballpark. It's been that way for a long time. They've gone through many design changes, and they have enclosed it. They open it up again, but it's still one of the best ballparks in all of baseball. It's always been a great playing surface. You and I walked on the field today when we came into the ballpark, and you said something to me that reminded me of my first couple of trips in here. This is Cole Calhoun. What'd you say about the ground balls?
Well, this was the first field that I've ever played on where the ball in the outfield, when it comes to, it snakes to you. It just goes back and forth. I'd never played on a field, and I think it's the way that they cut it, the way that the grass is cut in the outfield, and the ball would literally look like a snake coming at you when it was hit on the ground. But it's a great playing surface.
Yeah, it always has been. I think it was one of the first fields where they really manicured it so well. And then, and you and I both played at a time where all the fields weren't great. I mean, there were a lot of bad fields. I hate to bring up Cleveland, but that was one of the worst fields because they played football on it.
They played football on it and tried getting a ground ball on there. I would go out there with like a catcher's face mask on there to take my ground balls because I didn't want to catch one in the chops. Yeah, it was rough, and it would get chewed up, and they wouldn't drag it. Now they drag it every 3 innings.
Yeah. It's a liner in the right. Gritchick's going to have to play around the hop. Cole Calhoun gets a one-out single. For Calhoun, that's just his second career hit against Marcus Stroman, who is now 2 for 11 for his career.
He's been swinging the bat a little bit better since coming off the disabled list. You can see there his hands are a little bit lower. He's made a small adjustment in his setup, and that helps him to get to those balls just a little bit better. He's hit the balls hard the other way in this series. This one he pulls to right field for a hit. They now have 5 hits to the Blue Jays 3.
Now they have 6. Jose Briseño, the catcher, bounces one through the left side. You know, we have talked about it often in reference to Stroman. He gets a lot of ground balls, but a lot of those ground balls find their way through the infield. You think about Fletcher's 2 hits, top of the order. They're both ground ball base hits. Mike Trout had a line drive base hit. Upton had a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. And now Briseño, it's just a ground ball, but it finds a hole.
And very easily, if it's at the third baseman and Blue Jays are hitting, that's a double play ground ball, but it makes its way into the outfield. That's 4 innings now where they've had at least 2 hits.
Jose Fernandez was looking for a fastball.
What gave it away? You had a chance to see him, you were telling me, in the WBC, and you came away impressed.
Yeah, he was playing second base for Cuba in the WBC in 2013. I saw him in Fukuoka, and then I saw him in the next round in Tokyo, and he could really swing the bat. He was playing second base, as I mentioned, but he was hitting line drives all over the ballpark. He played for Matanzas in Cuba. Played 8 years in Matanzas, and he was one of the best hitters, hit 300 every year. So when Aledmus Diaz and Kendrys Morales and even Lourdes Gurriel Jr. saw him on Thursday night, they all rekindled their relationship.
Watch out. He's had a bit of a magical mystery tour, if you will, trying to get back to the Angels.
He signed with the Dodgers as a free agent in January of 2017. He hadn't played competitive baseball for 2 years after he defected from Cuba. Kind of like Gurriel. Had a lot of rust to knock off. Breaking ball. You can see that Stroman understands what a good fastball hitter Fernandez is.
Yeah. He was let out of his contract of the Dodgers, and that's how he ended up here with the Angels after just 1 season.
In that 2013 World Baseball Classic, he hit .524. 11 for 21. Hits this one in the air, not deep. Gritchick coming over. He'll give way to Pilar, who will set up and make the catch. Calhoun will hold at second. Fernandez retired on the fly ball.
I think there's some communication that has to go on out there. It looked like Gritchick had it, and Pilar called him off. And that's why the two of them are talking there. It's always, if there's 2 outfielders calling it, the center fielder and the right fielder, it's the center fielder's ball. Pilar must have felt that he had a better chance of setting up to make that throw to keep the runners where they are.
Because it was so high, he had time to run over and get underneath it. Here is Michael Hermosillo, the Angels center fielder. Breaking ball for a ball.
I don't know. Pilar went over there, called it off, and at the last second, it looked like he lost the ball just momentarily, and then picked it back up. Maybe that's what they were talking about.
Ball 2. Well, it is still early here, and it is twilight, so the sky above the stadium is very light, and you can lose the baseball. You take your eye off it for a split second, it's tough to pick it up again. That's what the outfielders are dealing with on those fly balls. Bottom of the fourth inning, 2 outs, 2 on, and a 2-0 count on Michael Hermosillo.
Remember early in this game, in the first inning, we said we want to see if there's some finish off Marcus's fastball. That ball had some finish on it. We want to take it off the swing plane with that 2-seam fastball. That was a good one.
Way outside, it's now 3-1. Stroman trying to get out of this fourth inning. That's pull foul for strike 2. It's now a full count. So the 2 runners on base, Calhoun, who's at second, and Briseño's at first. They'll both be running. Leadoff man is on deck, David Fletcher. He's already 2 for 2. It's a full count on Michael Hermosillo. There go the runners. A little check swing tapper. Stroman quickly off the mound, fires in plenty of time, and that'll do it. So the Angels, they leave 2 more. They have stranded 5 so far in this game, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Ballpark goes Friday, July 6th, where the first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays bucket hat. You can join in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. The Yankees come to town Friday, July 6th. BlueJays.com for tickets.
Well, the Yankees having no problems with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay with another shutout, 4-0. Wilmer Font, who had a tough start to his season. He goes 5 2/3, no runs, 3 hits allowed. Walked the batter and struck out 4. Picks up his first win.
I thought there was going to be a few home runs hit in that by the Yankees.
They didn't even score a run.
Yeah, no disrespect or anything like that, but he had been giving up, Wilmer Font been giving up a few home runs this year. So I thought for sure the Yankees would touch him up. Pitched great.
Curtis Granderson, batting for a 3rd time, has walked and struck out. 2-0 count. Granderson leading off the top half of the 5th inning in a 1-0 ball game. Pulls it on the ground. Fletcher waits at second. One away.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Many ways to get around in Southern California. A lot of people forget about the train system. There's a train system that you can go up and down this area, but everybody in California wants to have their cars.
We know that for a fact.
No matter when you drive out here, the freeways are loaded.
Yeah, driving to the ballpark, traffic. Driving back from the ballpark, you're stuck in traffic.
Teoscar Hernandez has accounted for the only run of this ball game. He had a one-out home run in the third inning, and he hit it a mile, 424 feet. That has been a problem for Jaime Barria. Barria has now given up 9 home runs on the season, but that's just the third home run he's allowed in this ballpark. He went through a stretch where he was giving up 2 home runs. On the 26th of May in New York, he gave up 3 home runs to the Yankees. 2 of them came in the bottom of the first inning. Brett Gardner and Aaron Judge went back to back. And then later on, Austin Romine hit one in the bottom of the second. Home runs have been a problem for Barria early in the game.
Four home runs in his last 2 starts. And now the home run by Hernandez accounting for tonight's only run. I asked Teoscar today, I said, I heard a rumor you're going to get a World Series ring when the team goes to Houston. And he said, yes. Here's the home run. Breaking ball. He stays on it, crushes it to left field. I said, how long did you play for Houston? He said, oh, maybe half a game. He was just kidding, of course, but that should be pretty cool when the team goes to Houston tomorrow.
Yeah, he and Tyler Clippard both will pick up World Series rings from the Astros. I think it's a tremendous gesture. Obviously, the owners have the rights to award anybody they want to a World Series ring, but as players, it's such a special gesture by your former club. Neither one really figuring in to the World Series, but they were part of the team. Another good swing by Hernandez, his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 3.
They have been struggling just a little bit, so John Gibbons decided to give him last night off. Inserted Steve Pearce into the lineup. Steve responded with 3 hits, but just that one game away from having to go through your routine looks like it has done wonders for Teoscar. He is 2 for 3.
And Ever Solarte lined out to center field and then got a base hit to center. He's 1 for 2. Teoscar has 3 stolen bases this season, but he's been caught 4 times. Downstairs for ball 1. Barria has now thrown 88 pitches. Taking a little more time in between pitches now.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown 100 pitches in a game this year.
96, the most he has thrown. It came in his start against Houston on the 15th of May. Swinging a drive deep to right field, but that's hooking foul. Solarte got on it, but pulled it foul. Cam Bedrosian pitched a very good 8th inning last night. He is throwing now for the Angels. He retired the side in order in the 8th. Tough pitch. Might have been off the plate outside. Solarte said, okay. I got one more strike left.
I got to force the action here. I've got to take my chances with Hernandez. Probably going to get a breaking that ball now with 2 strikes. Take a shot.
Well, Mike Scioscia thinks the Blue Jays are going to run. Scioscia, the manager, one of the few managers that calls the running game defense for his catchers. This is his 19th season, as we've mentioned. What a job he has done.
Wow. For me, he's a Hall of Famer. He has won a World Series. When he was manager with the Angels, he's been here a long time.
2-time manager of the year, 2002, when they won the World Series. He has 6 division titles. It's really interesting. He managed AAA for the Dodgers, and everybody assumed he was going to be the next Dodger manager. But he got wind that that wasn't going to be the case, so he resigned from the Dodgers on the 20th of September 1999 and then became the Angels manager.
He's been here ever since. What a great job he has done with this organization.
Ground ball. Fletcher. Simmons. Fernandez. Solarte bounces into an inning-ending double play, so the base hit by Hernandez is erased. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays holding on to that 1-run lead.
Heads to Wisconsin. That's tomorrow for the Kohler Grand Prix. It's on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet Now. Now also getting the start tomorrow, Sam Gaviglio, who's back with the club. Sam's a new dad. Livia was born on Tuesday morning to keep his arm ready when he was away from the team. Gaviglio threw into a net in his garage back in Oregon and played catch with a kid in the neighborhood. Whatever it takes, Spot, to keep the arm ready to go.
That's for sure. He lives in Southern Oregon, and obviously not a whole lot of places to get throwing in, but he made sure he didn't miss a beat. Yeah, congratulations to Sam and his wife for their first child. David Fletcher's had a good start to his night. He's 2 for 2, filling in for Ian Kinsler, who gets the night off. Fletcher is now 7 for 15 since coming up from AAA, and he was wearing it out in AAA. Fletcher in AAA was leading the Pacific Coast League in hits, doubles, extra base hits, and runs, and he was 3rd in average. You know what? They always say you need to call up a kid from the minors when he's hot. Well, in 10 games in June, he hit .364.
That's when you want to do it. You want to call him up when he's not swinging.
Bouncing ball to short. Diaz throws him out. First time they've retired Fletcher tonight. Well, Mike Trout He got a base hit his last time up, his first hit of the series. That snapped an 0 for 6. And when you look at the all-time OPS, and there are some iconic names on this list. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, and Lou Gehrig, 1, 2, and 3. And then Mike Trout just ahead of Mickey Mantle.
Who he is most compared to. Mickey Mantle. They both played center field. They both have outstanding power. They can both run like the wind. I mean, Babe Ruth with a career 1.1 OPS. Wow.
I'll tell you the difference between Mickey Mantle and Mike Trout. Mickey Mantle was 5'11" and weighed 195. Mike Trout's about 6'3" and weighs about 240.
Yeah. And can fly like
can fly.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mantle, you know, everybody talks about Bo Jackson, his great speed, but they say Mickey Mantle was that kind of fast. You've heard the stories, of course. You played with the Yankees, and Tony Kubek told me that Mickey Mantle got the first base in 3.1 on a drag bunt. 3.1 seconds. 30 yards. That's a world-class sprinter speed.
Four is a really good time to first base. Now, could you imagine if Mike Trout was a switch hitter? That's what Mickey Mantle was. The combination of power and speed, athleticism, the explosiveness.
And Mickey Mantle won 3 MVP awards. Mike Trout already has 2.
Yeah, what, 2 or 3 second place finishes already? Ooh.
3-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Stroman strikes out Chant for a second time. As Martin and Marcus mixing up the pitches very effectively tonight.
Here's the finish that I was looking for on the fastball. Look at that thing come back and hit the outside corner. That's finish. Trout thinks it's going to be off the plate. Reads it as a ball, but it comes back over the outside corner. No argument from Mike Trout. Just an excellent pitch.
Stroman now with 4 strikeouts. And he gets ahead of Justin Upton with a first pitch strike. Upton is 1 for 1 with a walk. Boy, this is a welcome sight for the Blue Jays indeed, to have Marcus Stroman healthy and back in the rotation. And there's that wipeout breaking ball.
You know, they got some bad news today concerning their starters. Both Aaron Sanchez and Jaime Garcia go on the disabled list today. So they're losing 2/5 of their rotation in just this afternoon.
Garcia on the DL for a second time with shoulder issues. Sanchez has been placed on the DL with that index finger problem, and it's not a blister. He has been categorized as having a contusion on his right index finger, and it is so painful he can't grip a baseball.
Yeah, he said he can't grip it, he can't throw it. I saw him in the clubhouse today. The finger looked swollen, and I can see where he was going to have problems just letting go of the baseball. And that's the right thing to do. Put him on the disabled list. If you have any problems trying to throw it, the last thing you want to do is start worrying about him changing his mechanics to alleviate that problem with his finger. Just put him on the disabled list, get him healthy. He'll miss 1 turn.
Upton swings and misses Stroman. 3 up, 3 down in the 5th with a couple of strikeouts. That's 5 strikeouts now for Marcus. His first start since May 8th, and it's gone very well. He strikes out Justin Upton. Blue Jays still have that 1-0 lead.
RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
We move to the 6th inning, and the Angels have made a pitching change. Cam Bedrosian making his 38th appearance of the season. He had a very good inning in the 8th last night in that Angels win.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. Former first-round draft pick out of high school in Georgia. Now he's been in the big league parts of 5 seasons for this team. Good hard fastball, good curveball. 34 innings this year, a 3-1 record, and a very good earned run average of 371. Throws hard. This is right where he faced last night. This part of the order.
They got Morales to ground out the short, then they got Pilar to pop out and Martin to do the same. 3 up, 3 down. No problem for Bedrosian. Morales takes the first pitch strike. Kendricks is 0 for 2. Bedrosian has held Morales to an 0 for 3 in their head-to-head matchup. There's another fastball for a strike. Bedrosian last year missed 53 games on the DL with a right groin strain. Pitchers use their legs so much during their delivery that anytime you have any kind of groin strain, it's going to be a significant amount of time you missed.
Especially when you throw that hard. Bedrosian, when he first signed, again out of high school, he was a starter in the minor leagues his first 2 years with the Los Angeles Angels, and then they put him in the bullpen, and he flew through the organization and got to the big leagues very quickly. His father was like that. I remember facing his father in the minor leagues when he was with the Atlanta Braves. He was a starter. And then they moved him into the bullpen and won a Cy Young.
Steve Bedrosian pitched 14 big league seasons with Atlanta, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Minnesota. Won that Cy Young Award in '87 with the Philadelphia Phillies. 3-2 pitch, ball 4. So Morales will draw the leadoff walk here in the 6th.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Been a great trip here to the West Coast. 3 games in Anaheim, 4th tomorrow afternoon. Then the Blue Jays will go to Houston to take on the Astros. A 3-game series, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. Kevin Pilar hits it sharply to Valbuena. 2nd for 1, back to first. Nice stretch over at first by Fernandez. Fletcher's throw was up the line. Pulled Fernandez off the bag, but he maintained contact to complete the double play. 5-4-3 on the double play.
The Jays are making sure that Fernandez stayed on that base. Fletcher, the second baseman, had a little bit more time than he thought. Here's the throw from Valbuena to Fletcher. He's got plenty of time. He rushes it and yanks it up the line. But a good job by Fernandez, the first baseman, to keep that right foot on the base.
Well, it's a 1-0 game, and it's due in part to the fact the Blue Jays have hit into 3 double plays. They've just not been able to string hits together. They had back-to-back hits in the 3rd, a home run by Hernandez, and then the single by Solarte. A leadoff double in the 4th and a 1-out single in the 5th.
Blue Jays have turned their own double play just a little bit more difficult.
Cam Bedrosian, he wasn't really sure what he got, but he takes a hit away from Russell Martin. That had a chance to get into the outfield, but Bedrosian has a very quick inning. No problem, aided by another double play. Sportsradio telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead thanks in part to a terrific throw by Kevin Pillar that ended the third inning. He took a fly ball off the bat of Luis Valbuena and then threw a strike to home plate to gun down David Fletcher to end that Angel threat and maintain this 1-0 lead.
Now it's over to the bullpen. Marcus Stroman, 5 good innings, shutout innings. First one out tonight, Aaron Loup. And Loup, he has been off for 4 days. Last time he pitched was that last game against Atlanta. An inning, gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs in that ball game through 18 pitches, so they wanted to give him a little bit more time to rest up. Doesn't really go back-to-back days, so he comes in now. He's got a couple of left-handers, and this is how John Gibbons puts it together right here. He'll look at an inning, he sees if there's 2 lefties and 1 righties, he'll bring out Aaron Loup to face them as they try to put it together the rest of the way.
Luis Valbuena. It's the first pitch strike from Luke. Valbuena is 0 for 2. As we mentioned, he hit that fly ball. Looked like it had a chance to be a sacrifice fly, but Kevin Pillar made a terrific one-hop throw to Russell Martin as they gunned down David Fletcher trying to score. Luke making his 10th appearance this month. As Pat mentioned, his last outing, it didn't go so well. Charged with 2 earned runs. He gave up 3 hits to Atlanta. Valbuena overmatched that inside fastball.
Yeah, and he might have done him a favor by swinging at it.
Remember, Valbuena hurt his wrist last night on a swing, and again, it looked like he was troubled by that inside pitch. Didn't really have a very good swing at it.
When it comes to hitting against left-handers, Valbuena actually has a higher batting average versus left-handed pitching this year. Doesn't have the type of power stats that he has against righties, but lefties, he's hitting at a 258 clip.
Stayed on that ball and fouls it off. Valbuena's just 0 for 2 against Aaron Loup, so he hasn't had much experience against the lefty. John Gibbons ball club has a 1-0 lead, trying to get a win here. They lost the first 2 games, 8-5 and 2-1. This time Luke strikes out Valbuena, 1 away. That's 3 straight strikeouts for the Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman went 5 innings, picks up 5 strikeouts, and it was a very good return to the rotation for Stroman. Very efficient, 81 pitches over 5 innings, no runs on 6 hits. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. And how do you assess his return to the rotation?
Well, it gave them 5 innings of shutout baseball. That's where you want to start, and he only walked 1 batter. I asked Gibby today, I said, do you have any limitations on Marcus in terms of pitch count? And he says, no, not really. There's a base hit for Simmons. He said, we'll keep our eye on him. We're not going to get carried away with pitch counts, but we'll watch him, we'll monitor him, we'll watch him and see if he's getting tired. Remember, his last time that he threw off the mound was a simulated game where he threw 75 pitches. That's a lot different than facing major league hitters.
Andrelton Simmons picks up his first hit of the night. Simmons is 1 for 3. Cole Calhoun has a base hit in 2 trips to the plate. How about that play? A 3-1 putout, and not your routine 3-1 putout. Looks like a couple of highlight players getting together. And John Gibbons said, okay, well, you got that pair of left-handers, and look at Morales. He swipes at it and flips it right to Loup, who was on his way to cover the bag anyway. So Calhoun is retired, 3-1 on the putout. 2 outs as Simmons goes to second, and Loup will be out of the ball game. So he retires the 2 left-handers he faced in this inning. Simmons had a single. Now Tyler Clippard will come on with a man at second. 2 outs in a 1-0 ball game.
The right-hander, this is where John Gibbons likes to match up his relievers, righty versus righty, lefty versus lefty. You mentioned the great inning that he had last night, 1-2-3. He's had his problems against the Los Angeles Angels in his career. He comes into this game with a 1-5 career record with an ERA pushing 8 against Los Angeles. But I think his job right now is to get one back. And if he does it quickly, they might push him back out there for the 7th, or they might just shut him down since he pitched in last night's game.
The catcher, Jose Briseño, had a base hit his last time up. There's that first pitch changeup, and boy, you get young hitters at the plate, and Tyler Clippard, he really baffles him with that assortment of off-speed pitches.
Pretty obvious that he was sitting for the first pitch fastball, and Clippard wasn't going to give it to him. He really took something off of that breaking ball.
Simmons is at second. Another off-speed pitch, and Briseño waves at it.
Do it again. He retired the lineup in order last night on just 5 pitches. And right now, Briseño's talking to himself. He doesn't know what to look for.
Clippard ahead 0-2. Fly ball to right, not that deep. Pitchick is there, and that'll end the inning. Tyler Clippard comes in and strands a base runner in scoring position. We'll go to the 7th. The Blue Jays still have that 1-0 lead for Marcus Stroman.
reach all across Canada. And all season long, we celebrate unstoppable kids in Jay's Care programs. Visit jayscare.com/unstoppablekids to support and learn more. What a gesture right there. A young kid getting a ball from a fan here in Anaheim. Buck?
It's all about the kids in baseball. Go to the ballpark and enjoy a good night with your kids. And when you see those unstoppable kids that are part of the Jay's Care program, it makes you pause and reflect just what a great opportunity it is for you to help kids across Canada, give them an opportunity to get involved in sports. Cam Bedrosian in his second inning of work. Pitchers duel tonight, just 11 hits in the game. Only one run has come in to score. That's the home run off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez, his 13th home run of the season, back in the third inning.
It's like last night's game, a one-run game. Pitchers duel.
2-1 ball game last night. Blue Jays had 9 hits. They out-hit the Angels 9-3, but lost. The Angels scored their 2 runs in the first inning and nothing after that. Randall Grichuk walked and flied out. One and two. He gets a piece of it to stay alive.
You know, when you play these one-run games and these close games, defense becomes so important. And at the beginning of this game, we highlighted Andrelton Simmons out at shortstop. What a great defender he is, and the gold gloves and everything like that. But when you have a chance to watch him and his pre-pitch setup and the way he is into the game, you can see him. He's looking in for the signs right there, trying to get a jump on these pitches. Doesn't matter now after a strikeout.
One away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's keeping an eye on a lot of baseball action. Kansas City had played them tough. Yeah, they had a good series against the Astros, and the Blue Jays will be in Houston to play the Astros in a 3-game series beginning Monday night.
Kansas City beat them last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Andy Duffy.
Right back to the mound. Bedrosian will walk it toward first. Underhand toss to up to down. Bedrosian has faced the minimum for an inning and 2/3.
Great play to end the last inning by Bedrosian. He also got the double play after the leadoff walk. Pitching and defense has been the story the last 2 nights.
Jose Alvarez up for a second time. He was up early in the ball game, and he is up once again with Curtis Granderson waiting on deck. Devin Travis has struck out and popped out. And now he's got a base hit. He didn't waste any time jumping on that first pitch. Then they got the lefty ready down in the bullpen as Granderson still waits on deck, keeps his eye on Mike Scioscia, and here comes the manager, and there's the call to the bullpen. So Scioscia will make a pitching change here. Devin Travis with a 2-out single. The 5th hit for the Blue Jays. Cam Bedrosian gives up just the 1 hit. Now he will turn things over to the lefty, Jose Alvarez. The lefty is coming on. Curtis Granderson was the scheduled hitter, but Steve Pearce, who came back to the Blue Jays last night in fine fashion. He went 3 for 4 last night. He will pinch hit for Granderson when we come back to Anaheim.
Sportsnet TV subscribers, you can live stream your favorite sports on the go on every screen. Go to snnow.ca and sign in with your TV provider to start watching today.
New pitcher into the ballgame is the left-hander Jose Alvarez, making his 38th appearance. He's the only left-hander the Angels have in their pen, and he was brought in to make the pitching change as Granderson was the scheduled batter. Now T. Pierce will face Alvarez.
Yeah, forced the hand of John Gibbons, and he goes to his bench and brings Pierce in. Sinker slider. That's what you're basically going to get from Alvarez.
Pierce goes after the first pitch and hits it to deep center field, but the deepest part of this ballpark. Nearly 400 feet away, but Alvarez needs just one pitch to close out the Blue Jays in the top of the 7th. Fernandez, Hermosillo, and Fletcher in this 1-0 ball game. Tomorrow afternoon will feature Sam Gaviglio going to the mound with a 2-2 record to be opposed by Felix Pena, who has no record. We'll be on the air at 3:30 Eastern Time. That's 12:30 Pacific Time. Sam Gaviglio, after being away for the birth of his first child, will make the start on Sunday. If you're just joining us, the Blue Jays have disabled 2 of their starting pitchers. Aaron Sanchez went on the disabled list with a contusion to his right index finger. Jaime Garcia, who was a possible starter for tomorrow's game, he too went on the DL. Garcia on the DL for a second time with shoulder inflammation.
Tim Meza back up with the ball club, and he is here and available for tonight's game according to the Blue Jays. Where they need to make a decision is Tuesday. When the spot opens up, they're going to need a starter for that day in Houston.
Fernandez goes the opposite way. This has got a chance to be extra bases. Big turn, and wow. Devin Travis did a terrific job of backing up Diaz. As Teoscar's throw was offline, Travis was right behind the shortstop and took that errant throw, caught it to make sure Fernandez stays put at first.
Whenever a ball is hit, everybody has a spot to be. Blue Jays are in the shift. Solarte had just moved. But whenever a ball is put into play, everybody has a spot. There's Solarte starting to move out of position. And wouldn't you know it, the first pitch is hit right where he was standing. Devin Travis did a heck of a job backing up that wild throw to keep that runner at first base.
Michael Hermosillo, not showing signs of bunting, goes after the first pitch and pops it into the seats. Excuse me, Kinsler. He came up to pinch hit for Hermosillo. He went after the first pitch.
Yeah, this is where Mike Scioscia might have the advantage. Remember, we told you he kept a lot of his stars on the bench tonight, not starting this game. He now brings a veteran, Ian Kinsler, off the bench. He's also got Pujols sitting there.
Upstairs, ball and a strike to Kinsler. Kinsler started last night. He went 0 for 4. He was 0 for 5 in the game on Thursday night with 3 strikeouts. So he is hitless in his 9 plate appearances so far in this series. Pinch hitting for the center fielder, Michael Hermosillo, inside.
He is an excellent low ball hitter. So if you're going to go up, I think you got to go up and away.
Swinging a drive to left field. Hernandez on the warning track. Tagging is the runner. He is headed for second. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Jose Fernandez tags and advances on the fly ball to left field. He got back quickly once he recognized Teoscar Hernandez was going to make the catch in left field. Went back to tag up and moves himself into scoring position.
You know, he got some help over there at first base from the first base coach, Alfredo Griffin. He's seen this thousands of times. Recognizing the ball is not going to leave the yard, he tells him to get back to tag up, and now he gets himself into scoring position with an aggressive slide at second base. Devin Travis gets a face full of Jose Fernandez trying to dive into the base.
Now there's going to be a review, and John Gibbons has come over to talk to Laz Diaz as to what they want to review, whether or not he left early, whether or not he comes off the bag as Travis puts the tag on him.
I think their argument is he might have come off the bag. I don't know what they saw. I didn't see anything there that suggests that he came off the base. And he was there before the throw got there.
Certainly didn't look like he left first base early. He went back, had plenty of time to go back and tag up. He has maintained contact there with his left toe, and then he lifted it up ever so slightly. But man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I don't like this rule.
No, neither do I.
I do not like this rule at all. I think if the base runner beats the throw to the bag, he should be safe. And all of this nonsense, well, it came off. Yeah, well, you know what? If you run hard, your momentum's going to take you off the base. I don't like this part of this rule. I think the purpose of this rule is determine whether or not the ball beat the runner to the bag.
Yeah, not if he came off the bag or not. I mean, if you've ever run a base, run to the bases, you're right. Your momentum takes you off the base. He's trying to keep Travis up. He's not trying to hurt him. I don't like this.
No, I don't think this is in the spirit of the game. I mean, if that's the case, you should have Velcro on the base runner's spikes and put it on the bases so they don't come off. But yeah, I don't think that's baseball. Laz Diaz and Andy Fletcher, they're at home plate. They're the two senior umpires on this umpiring crew. They seem to have a bit of a conversation as they were listening to New York. And now once again they take their headsets off, and I don't know if they're having trouble hearing what they're saying to them in New York. Obviously it's a big part of this ball game right now that represents the tying run at second base.
Well, if the Blue Jays do get the call, you can credit Devin Travis keeping that glove on the runner, and they're going to call him out.
Yeah, calling him out. So he obviously lost contact with the base, and yeah, I like to show you with instant replay, but like I said, I don't agree with that rule. That's not in the spirit of what I think video was designed to do. But in the Blue Jays' favor, 2 outs. And Teoscar will be credited with his 6th outfield assist of the season. That leads the Blue Jays. This is David Fletcher. He's 2 for 3 so far. Fletcher takes the first pitch strike. Fletcher is just 24 years old. We mentioned he was drafted by the Angels in 2015. He lays off that changeup. Big numbers at AAA Salt Lake City for Fletcher this season. A .350 average with 6 homers and 37 driven in. Martin back near the backstop. He's got room and makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. So the Blue Jays get the benefit of a video replay review. Tyler Clippard threw 7 innings. Blue Jays maintaining that 1-0 lead. Brought to you by the Honda Checkered Flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
You want to see a pretty swing? Let's go back to that 3rd inning. Teoscar Hernandez gets a hold of a hanging breaking ball and unloads on it deep to left field. Way over 400 feet, 424 feet later. He's going to circle the bases with his 13th home run of the season and tonight's drive of the game. The only score of tonight's game.
A 1-0 ball game. Teoscar is 2 for 3. He struck out his first time up, then homered in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. Ian Kinsler came into the ballgame as a pinch hitter. He stays in the game defensively at 2nd base. Right fielder Cole Calhoun moves to center with Michael Hermosillo out of the game. David Fletcher started at 2nd. He takes over in right field now. So Kinsler stays in the game. They keep his bat in the ballgame, and they move Fletcher to the outfield. 1-2 strikes on Teoscar Hernandez. We're in the 8th inning of a 1-0 game. The Blue Jays are 9-9 in 1-run games. They lost a 1-run game last night, 2-1.
Actually out hit the Los Angeles Angels and lost. Tonight, they're being out hit and they're winning.
Hernandez strikes out for a 2nd time. Jose Alvarez gets him with the high fastball.
He got some decent command with his stuff. He relies on that command and deception. His fastball is a little bit above average. He's got a great changeup and a nice sinker. Goes upstairs to pick up the strikeout.
Alvarez now 29 years old. He's from Venezuela. Solarte goes after the first pitch. David Fletcher's getting a test in right field. Gets the edge of the warning track and makes the catch. So 2 quick outs for Alvarez here in the 8th inning. Sunwang Oh is loosening up for the Blue Jays. Tyler Clippard with an inning and a third. Anderson Morales will turn around and bat right-handed for the first time tonight. Morales is 0 for 2 with a walk. The Blue Jays, their magic number for runs scored offensively is 5. When they score 5 or more runs, they're 28-2. They score less than 5 runs, they're 6-39. And they have not played well on the road this season. They're 14-21 on the road. They have now hit 42 home runs away from Rogers Center, 56 at home. The road has been full of potholes for the Blue Jays over the last 11 road games. They're 1-10, the ERA almost 6. They're hitting just .223 and not scoring any runs.
Yeah, there's the runs you were talking about. You generally in Major League Baseball, you get to 5 runs, you got an outstanding chance of winning the game. I like the idea that they've hit a home run tonight. You usually win when they hit home runs.
So Alvarez, he walks Morales with 2 outs. Justin Anderson, he picked up the save here on Thursday night. He faced just 3 batters, gave up a single to Granderson, a pinch hit single, then got a double play and a strikeout. Kevin Pillar is 1 for 3. He had another double tonight, his 24th of the season. Shows bunt, drops down, beauty. Alvarez gets on it quickly and makes a nice play. Good idea by Pillar, but the lefty Alvarez was on it. Makes a good defensive play. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-0 game time now for Blue Jays Central Updaters. Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle from the Samsung Broadcast Studio. Pitcher for the Blue Jays is Sunwang Oh, who is going to start the 8th inning. The Blue Jays bullpen has done a nice job. Aaron Loup got 2 outs, Clippard an inning and a third, and now Oh takes over for the 35th time this season.
Oh was great here at game 1 of this series on Thursday. Through 1 inning, struck out the side. 1, 2, 3. He's been throwing the ball much better. 33 innings this season. He's had 36 strikeouts and just 9 walks. He has really come on lately.
He had a very abbreviated spring as well because of visa issues. You see Justin Smoke takes over defensively at first base. Morales, after drawing the walk, was lifted for the pinch runner, Gio Urshela. So Urshela is out of the game. Smoke is in the game. For the Angels, guess who starts out the 8th? Mike Trout. Trout has gone 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Andy Fletcher, before action would start, and now Eugene Koo, the interpreter for O, has come out, and Andy saw something he didn't
And they're
agree
stopping
to.
Gibby. They're saying if you cross this line, it's going to be a. He's asked him if he can cross the line, or if it's going to be a trip to the mound. I don't know what he saw, but the home plate umpire saw something that O was doing, and he wanted to let him know about it.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was about, but Fletcher was very quick to go out to the mound and say, we got an issue here. So here is Mike Trout.
Now, the only thing I can think about is maybe he went to his mouth while he was standing on the rubber, and that's what it looked like right there. Right away, Andy Fletcher caught that. You can go to the your mouth now while you're on the dirt, but you have to wipe it off. Can't do it when you're standing on the pitching rubber.
Well, the Blue Jays have done a terrific job of elevating the fastball to Mike Trout. When we first got here Thursday night, I had a chat with Eric Hinsky, the former Blue Jay, who's the hitting coach for the Angels. I said, what's going on with Trout? Why is he so much better right now than he's been? He said he's not chasing that high fastball. That pitch right there. But the Blue Jays have made some great pitches upstairs to Trout. Stroman struck him out in the first, struck him out in the 5th.
If you're going to go up there, make sure you're up high. I'd rather you miss high and get a ball than miss a little bit lower, and you're going to lose the baseball.
I saw Hinsky going over the pitcher with a hitter in the dugout. Full count to Trout. Stayed on that breaking ball. Well, another thing about Trout, you got to keep him off base. He's a terrific base stealer. He's only been caught once this season. He's 13 for 14. Another high fastball, and Trout strikes out for the 3rd time.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Mike Trout has walked 67 times. He has now struck out 3 times tonight. He has struck out 66 times. When this series started, Trout had 64 strikeouts and, 60 strikeouts and 64 walks. The Blue Jays have really pitched him tough.
They've used breaking ball, slow stuff away, and then elevated that fastball.
Tonight's only the 2nd time Trout has struck out 3 times in a game this season. He struck out 3 times way back on the 7th of April against Oakland. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, the only other game in which he has struck out 3 times this season.
One-run game, got to keep him off the bases. Got to do a number also on Upton. He can leave the yard in a hurry.
Upstairs, 2-2 now. Well, obviously in a 1-run game, one mistake and the thing can turn in a hurry. Good pitch. That high fastball does the trick. He gets Upton.
You know,
Those strikes out 2.
They found something. They're making good pitches right at the top of the strike zone. It looks inviting to hit, but you can't catch up to it. Told you his fastball's been better. He's faced 5 hitters in this series and struck them all out.
Not out of the woods just yet. Luis Valbuena. He's 0 for 3. The breaking ball to get ahead of is sharp. One and one now to Valbuena.
He is a good fastball hitter. So if you're going to use that fastball, put it in a good spot. Switching up on defense now, the Blue Jays with 2 strikes on Valbuena.
One swing of the bat, and this game is tied. A high fastball. You talked about the Blue Jays working these Angel hitters upstairs, and Valbuena turns on it. His 3rd home run in this series.
And if you're going to miss, you got to miss up high out of the strike zone. Because if you don't, these home run hitters, they can knock it out of the ballpark like Valbuena does to tie it up. 22 of them last year for the Los Angeles Angels. This is number 9. Like you said, 3rd one in the series, a high fastball that he turns on.
Well, Mike Trout right there top of the step to congratulate Valbuena. Trout's had a rough night, 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but Valbuena has tied it up just like that. A 1-1 game. Andrelton Simmons is 1 for 3. This ball is up.
Yeah, high fastball. They're going to go back there, but it's not good enough. That's a 2-strike home run. That's his 5th 2-strike home run this season. Just couldn't finish him off.
Well, we saw Eric Hinsky in the dugout talking to his hitters about and then you saw use the high fastball to get 2 strikeouts. So Valbuena certainly had that pitch on his mind, especially with 2 strikes.
And just wristed that ball out of here.
There's another high fastball, but this is higher than high, and eventually strikes out the side, but a 2-out solo home run off the bat of Luis Valbuena has made it a 1-1 game as we go to the 9th.
The ballpark is presented by Honda, and the first 20,000 fans will receive that Blue Jays red hat. Now, fans are encouraged to get to the ballpark early to take part in all the pregame festivities. BlueJays.com for tickets for Canada Day, presented by Honda.
Thank you very much, Raj. That's a beautiful hat. You can get that if you come early to the ballpark on Canada Day. Well, it's a 1-1 game. The Angels, in their last 11 home games coming into this game tonight, were 9-2. But more importantly, they had hit 17 home runs in those 11 games, and now the 18th home run in this 12th game of the homestand has them in a tie situation.
Back to the bullpen for the Angels. It's Justin Anderson, big arm, over 14th round draft pick from University of Texas at San Antonio. It was 1-1, 308. Blue Jays have seen him one time in this game. Lively fastball, pretty decent breaking ball.
Anderson picked up the save on Thursday. He gave up a base hit to the pinch hitter Curtis Granderson, got a double play off the bat of Luke Bailey, and struck out Lourdes Gurriel to end the ballgame. Russ Martin has walked twice tonight. He is officially 0 for 1. '96. Check at 97. Good heater from Anderson.
Yeah, 97 with some movement. And a nice little find for this team. This is his first taste of the big leagues this year. Last season, he was in the California League. He thought that was strike 3. And I think everybody else did too. He was walking off the mound like they were throwing the ball around the infield.
Not just yet. Justin Anderson working to Russell Martin. Anderson's ahead 1-2. Now it's even. Ryan Tepera loosening up for the Blue Jays. There's a drive into center field. Cole Calhoun over to cut it off. Russell Martin with a big turn, but he'll stop at first. A leadoff single for Russell.
What a nice little turnaround event of the event right there. Anderson thought he had him struck out on that 2-strike breaking ball. Russell fights back to a 2-2 count, gets the fastball he needs, and hit that ball hard.
Well, the Blue Jays have just one player on their bench. Steve Pearce came into the game as a pinch hitter for Curtis Granderson, and Gio Urshela was a pinch runner for Kendrys Morales in the 8th. Only guy on the bench is Luke Bailey. So if you're thinking about running for Russell Martin, they don't have anybody to run for him.
Yeah, you don't want to burn a couple of players for one guy right there. I mean, they could always bring in a pitcher, I guess, and pinch run for him. But you don't want to burn a guy unless you have to.
One and one to Grichuk. Two and one now. Grichuk has walked flat out and struck out. Struck out in the 7th inning. We're in the 9th. It's a 1-1 game. He went around. 2-2 now. Ledmus Diaz, it's been an interesting trip for him out on the on-deck circle. At the start of the Grichuk at bat, Devin Travis came out of the dugout, and told Diaz something, and then he just went back to check with the dugout again. We'll have to watch his at bat. 2-2 in the dirt.
You know,
it's a full count.
Managers sometimes will send a message to that on-deck hitter from the hitter that's in the hole. Like, hey, if this guy gets on, meaning Grichuk, you're going to bunt him over. And I'm sure that is what that was all about.
So Randall Grichuk now with a 3-2 count. Russell Martin's at first. Martin dives back in ahead of the throw at first base.
Do they start the runner here? It's a tough decision.
Well, Grichuk has been more consistent in cutting down the strikeout since he's come off the DL.
Yeah, if you do send that runner, that's what you're banking on, that hitter is going to make contact.
Martin's not running, and Grichuk gets a piece of it. Russell had taken a couple of exaggerated steps towards second, but he wasn't going. But that can change now. Tim Leeper, the first base coach, was in to advise Martin as they both looked across the diamond at Louis Rivera, the third base coach. Not running again. Swinging a drive left field, but it's not that deep. Martin's going back to tag at first. Upton has the throw and makes it in time, and Russell will stay put at first base. Grichuk flies out for the first out of the inning.
I mean, there's all kind of things you can do here. What you don't want to do, I think, as a manager is hit to the bottom of the inning time, as you could lose it. I think this is a great time to keep the pressure on right here. Try to force the action if you're the Blue Jays.
Aledmus Diaz has been hitting the ball very well to the right side of the field. Martin with a standard lead at first. He's running. The hit and run is on. It's a breaking ball, and he was a dead enough at second. So the Blue Jays rolled the dice. The Angels threw a breaking ball to Diaz, who's a very good fastball hitter.
First ball, fastball type of hitting. John Gibbons wants to take a look at this, that maybe they missed. But I understand what John Gibbons is thinking here. I got to be aggressive. I can't sit back and wait for something to happen. I'm going to try and make something happen. They put the hit and run on. Russell trying to avoid the tag. And gets back on. They throw a breaking ball. And they guessed wrong.
Briseño made a nice play on that breaking ball. It was in the dirt. He short-apped it, took a nice time to make a strong throw, and nails Russell Martin. Just the second base runner caught by Briseño in 4 attempts. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth for the Angels, Cole Calhoun, Jose Briseño, and Jose Fernandez. 6, 7, and 8 in the Angels lineup. And remember, Ian Kinsler is hitting in the 9th spot. He came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning.
Anderson looks like he's got a pretty good breaking ball and not afraid to use it. Diaz hit a big home run for the Blue Jays way back in April when they were in Cleveland. Can he do it again?
Andrelton Simmons has done this the last few innings, and he just did it on that last pitch. He sets up straight away, watches the sign from the catcher, and then just as the pitcher is starting to deliver, he moves to the side that the pitch is going to be thrown. And that time he bounced about 4 or 5 feet up the middle.
And it was a fastball away.
Oh, what a nice stroke by Diaz. He gets that breaking ball and rips it into center field. His first hit of the night, second hit of the inning, but there are 2 outs.
Blue Jays now up to 7 hits. Breaking ball. That's a good 2-strike approach. Plate coverage. Anderson's got a good breaking ball. He went to it with 2 strikes.
Devin Travis, he's got a hit tonight.
Boy, the outfield is really deep. Now with a runner at first base and 2 outs. David Fletcher, the right fielder, and he started this game as the second baseman, is almost on the warning track in right field. You can't see him. He's up against the wall, blending in with that red billboard in right field. But the reason you're deep, you want to cut off any ball in the gaps or down the line.
With 2 outs, the base runner Diaz at first will be off on contact, and then you happen to hit a ball in the gap, you've got a chance to score. So that's why the defense plays no doubles, and they are up against the fence.
If he could pull the ball down the left field line, he could run for days. They are shading him to right center.
Fletcher has played 2 innings in right field prior to making this move.
So they want to give him every opportunity to cut the ball off. I mean, he's 2 steps from the warning track in right field.
Two balls and a strike to Travis. Outside. 3-1 now.
Gear it up. Gear it up for a fastball.
Steve Pearce is on deck. Akil Morris loosening up for the Angels. Ball 4. Fastball outside. So Travis draws the walk. And Briseño, the catcher, is going to go to the mound. And that'll bring the entire infield in. And Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, will go to the mound. This is a little reminder about Steve Pearce. Pearce came into the ball game as a pinch hitter in the 7th, facing Jose Alvarez. He swung at the first pitch and hit a ball to the warning track in deep center field, but that ended the inning. So this is all about, here's what Pearce likes to do. You have to pitch to your strengths, and he can use that breaking ball. Pearce, a very good fastball hitter.
Yeah, he pulled a couple of balls yesterday down the left field line. One time for a double. Couldn't pull a ball in batting practice, and then gets into the game and rips a couple of balls to left field. Now you got a little bit harder thrower and a right-hander. You don't want to give away that at bat too early on the breaking ball.
And there's the breaking ball for strike 1. The Angels have walked 7 Blue Jays tonight, but it's a 1-1 game. The Blue Jays are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They've stranded 7 so far in this game. Nice play by the catcher, Briseño.
See how soft he gets when that ball is in the dirt? Soft with his body where he can absorb that ball once it comes off the dirt. Stay nice and loose behind the plate.
Pearce checked his swing. You know, he does that about as well as anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what he does? The barrel, he's got control of the barrel. So the hands go first and the barrel stays behind, and he just loosens up his hands. And he doesn't go. From the side, he did not go.
Two balls and a strike. Another breaking ball, and that's the book. Stay with that breaking ball to Pierce. Diaz had a 2-out single. He went to second on the walk to Travis. Justin Anderson working with 2 outs in this tie game. We're going to drive down the left field line. Get down, ball, get down, and go! Out of here! Steve Pierce, a low liner into the seats in left. That ball stayed up, went right into the seats about 2 rows back, just inside the foul pole and left. Home run number 4 for Pierce.
The 2-1 slider to Pierce was a breaking ball, and he felt like he stayed off of it. I don't know if you saw the reaction from Pierce. He kind of shook his head and said, okay, reminding himself to stay on it. Now with 2 strikes, watch how he shortens it up. That's a laser down the left field line. It's only about 5 feet high, that wall down the left field line. Plenty of room to spare. A huge hit for the Blue Jays, a 3-run home run with 2 strikes.
What a big boost for the Blue Jays. They now have a 3-run lead. Justin Anderson is out of the ball game. He ends up giving up 3 runs on 3 hits. Akil Morris comes in with nobody on and 2 outs. The Blue Jays with the lead here in the top of the ninth. Run of the season. It's the second home run the Blue Jays have hit here tonight. It's accounted for all 4 runs, and this is a laser shot down the left field line.
Watch how he doesn't even stride with 2 strikes. He's able to keep that ball fair down the left field line. It's a slider that stays on the inner half and hits it hard to left field. It's 353 feet, but it's only 347 with a low fence down the left field line. A huge hit for Pierce. It's been a long time in between home runs for Steve Pierce, and that's a big one.
Akil Morris comes in with 2 outs and nobody on. Throws a first pitch strike to Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez is 2 for 4. Morris was picked up by the Angels on April 3rd in exchange for cash considerations from Atlanta. He made his Angels debut on April 7th against Oakland. He pitched 2 innings on Monday night. Allowed a run in his first appearance since being recalled from AAA Salt Lake prior to last Friday night's game.
Another one of those pitchers that have been up and down from the AAA team to the Major League team. This year he's got a good fastball and a strong curveball, a sharp curveball.
Morris got into 8 games last year with the Atlanta Braves, a total of just 7 1/3 innings. The Blue Jays now with a little cushion. Well, 4 of their runs have come in on home runs. A solo shot by Hernandez, a 3-run home run by Steve Pierce. Pierce has had quite an impact since he's come off the DL. He's got 4 hits now in 6 at-bats. welcome back.
Yeah, hit a bullet his first time up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning.
Deep drive to center field. Calhoun right on the edge of the warning track will haul it in. But the Blue Jays come up with a big 2-out, 3-run home run by Steve Pearce. Ryan Tepera making his way into the ball game.
Days on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Beautiful Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and the Blue Jays scored 3 big runs in the 9th. And how about the at-bat by Ledmus Diaz? A 2-strike base hit to keep the inning alive, and then Travis drew the walk to set up the 3-run home run by Steve Pearce. And now Ryan Tepera coming into the ball game looking for his 6th save of the season.
Yeah, he's taken over as the closer for the Blue Jays. First time that we have seen Ryan in this series. With a good 2-seamer and a cutter. That cutter has been explosive for him. It's been a big strikeout pitch for him lately.
Cole Calhoun 1 for 3. He had a single in the 4th inning. You play Calhoun in the exaggerated shift on the infield. The outfield is basically straight away for Calhoun. You see Diaz, Travis, and Smoke all on the right side of second base.
And Hernandez shading a little bit, a couple of steps towards the line. If he's going to hit the ball off of Tepera, I think he's going to slice it to left field.
He fouls that one off the catcher, Russell Martin. A ball and 2 strikes now. Blue Jays trying to get back into this series. The Angels won the first 2 games, 8-5 on Thursday, 2-1 last night. The Blue Jays have a 4-win lead now. Calhoun strikes out, 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Brendan Dunlop and Nicky Reyes. It's all coming up right after this game, and lots of interesting action in the World Cup. So make sure you stay tuned following this game. The catcher, Jose Briseño, 1 for 3. Tepera misses badly down and away for ball one. Liner into center. Here comes Pilar. He'll make a nice sliding catch. 2 away.
You know, I've talked to Kevin before, and I've asked him what is the toughest play for you, and he says that line drive right at you. You have to get that good read off the bat. If you don't, you're not going to be able to make the catch. He's playing Briseño straight up in center field, and watch, as soon as the ball's hit, he's full speed right in to pick it off the grass and to record that second out. Good play.
So the Angels down to their final out. Jose Fernandez takes a breaking ball for ball one. Fernandez had a leadoff single in the 7th. The Angels have out-hit the Blue Jays 9-8.
Sound familiar? Last night.
Last night. Foul back. Well, obviously a big win if the Blue Jays can hold on here. They have had a rough stretch of road games, 1-10 in their last 11 road games.
And just 1 run in last night's game. But they made the hits count tonight. 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 big swings, accounting for all the runs.
Another good breaking ball from Tepera. He's ahead 1-2. The Jays have lost 4 of the 5 games they have played against the Angels this year. Steve Pearce with a big series. He was 3 for 4 in the game last night with a double. He's 1 for 2 tonight with the decisive 3-run home run. Pulled foul.
That's that cutter that Ryan Tepera has. It looks like a slider, but he likes to call it a cutter. So I want to get it right in under the hands of those left-handed batters. Tough to keep it fair. A lot of times he gets strikeouts with it.
He stays on that breaking ball. They're giving him a steady diet of breaking balls.
He's not afraid to use it backdoor. Throw it on the outside corner to the left-handed batters after he's thrown a couple inside to him. Trying to freeze him up. He can also go down and away with a hard 2-seam fastball.
Another 1-2 pitch from Tepera. Russell Martin wants it upstairs, and Hernandez fouls it off. He got jammed. His base hit went to left field his last time up. And you can see they played him to pull.
Everybody's pulled over. Solarte, the third baseman, is that straightaway shortstop. He beat the Blue Jays by getting jammed on a fastball last time up.
Boy, he had a very late cut at that hanging breaking ball, then fouls it onto the seats out of play. Ryan Tepera looking for his 6th save of the season. He would make the winner. And there's another example of a blown save and a win. Struck out the side in the 8th, but gave up a 2-run home run to Luis Valbuena that tied it at 1-1. That's the ball game. Hernandez strikes out. Tepera with a perfect 9th inning. And the Blue Jays win it 4-1. Tepera save number 6. Picks up the win. Big night for the big sluggers. Teoscar Hernandez hit his 13th home run in the 3rd, and then Steve Pearce connects for his 4th home run of the season. The difference in the ball game, a game-winning 3-run home run in the 9th.
Yeah, what a job by the bullpen after Marcus Stroman goes 5 innings. Luke Clifford, and Tepera finishing off. They gave up the 1 run. And a much-needed win for the Blue Jays.